Hey, welcome back to Let's Animate, our little introduction video here, get to know you as we work our way through our very simple, very interesting, very lively group of letters here. So the last video I was doing a lot of troubleshooting with that in. I apologize. I didn't really get a chance to do a full recap on what I'm trying to accomplish here because I talked a little bit about my backlog of ideas and working our way through that. But also, I want the banter. I want the get to know you kind of stuff, and funny, sort of interesting anecdotes, stuff that makes you think, stuff that makes you chuckle, as we go through projects and content that animated content that makes you laugh too. So, it's going to be a laid back kind of thing. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time staring at these bones and moving these points. As I get better, I want it to be more of a discussion show, a lot of chit chat, a lot of banter, like I say. But we got to work our way to that. Practice makes perfect. And right now we're moving on to the O. We've got a lot of other stuff done, but the O is still needing to do his little takeoff here. He's going to blast off into space right after his buddy the N falls. So we're going to have him start at 252. And he's just going to start to vibrate back and forth. He's got some weird jetpack technology back here that he hasn't shared with anybody, and he's just going to take it and he's going to blast off. So let's do just a simple little vibration, I guess. You can start around here, and then he's gonna go, what are we gonna do this, like one frame at a time? Yeah, let's say one frame at a time. He's just gonna start to pivot, and then he's gonna pivot, and then that's gonna cycle back. It should make for a nice little, simple little vibration for a little bit. Yeah. So he's going to vibrate like that for how long? I don't know how we're going to time this. Timing is not easy. He's going to vibrate like that for a bit, long enough for us to recognize that something's not quite right. Then he's going to suddenly stop. There. He's vibrating. He stops. We're going to have a switch layer, I guess. Switch layer we'll call, this is O2. We've got O2. We're going to duplicate O2. Or do we want to just... Yeah, we'll duplicate O2. We'll call it O jetpack. And in O jetpack, buddy here is going to have a little trail of smoke, I guess. Let's go with a nice smoke. Somewhere around there. And we've got our shape here. We don't need a stroke. Oh my god. Why is this like this? Why are you the way that you are? And maybe I'll put the smoke on his own deal. Smoke can be his own switch layer, and we'll just call it smoke and no smoke. Smoke, and then no smoke, and this becomes called, let's call him a capital. He's been promoted to a capital O. O smoke, there we go. So most of the time he's a no smoke kind of guy, but after he finishes vibrating, decides it's time to leave this world, he becomes smoked, which we decided was going to happen about here. We pop on the smoke, boom, there we go, and he starts to go. Now we're going to wait on that. We're going to go back, and we're going to actually first give him his movement in his life. guess he doesn't really have to stop vibrating, eh? Like, if he vibrates as he lifts off, we can just have him start to lift here. This would be pretty simple. Like I say about everything. That's my famous last words, you know. Oh, this will be pretty simple. I don't know if people in my real life, I should ask them if people in my real life find that I kind of diminish things a bit too much. Oh, this will be nothing, and then later find out, oh, wait a minute, I've screwed up here. This didn't turn out how I wanted. This bone is not working right. These points look janky. What would the equivalent of that in real life be? These points look janky. These bones don't work. I guess your bones could not work in real life, but, you know, like, I'm thinking, like, around the house, you know. Why do I have two O's? Do I have this on? No. Huh. That's left over because smoke has an O in it. And realistically, all I want in the smoke layer is the smoke. Right? Makes sense. Goodbye. You no longer exist in the smoke layer. You only exist here, and then as you take off, you're gone. Yeah, there we go. So he's out. He's just gone. He's like, nope. He noped the F out. Indeed. It actually looks pretty good. Pretty good. Like, I'm thinking like, oh yeah, I can do that. I'm gonna remodel my bedroom. I'm gonna move my bed here. I'm gonna put in a sunken floor. I'm gonna make a little takeout window that I can just pass things into the dining room from, or whatever. That's no problem. We'll just do it. Yeah, it'll be easy. And then only you come to find that you've busted holes in your walls. You've pissed off everybody in your house, and there's dust everywhere and holes everywhere and tools lying around. And you say, oh, maybe this was a little bit more complicated than I thought. Fortunately for us, we're just dealing with a bunch of silly points inside a blue box. And that's all this really is when you get down to it, is a bunch of silly points. Now, I would like, you know, like you see in like real rockets, I guess, they kind of take off slower and then suddenly pick up speed, right? So if I could slow down his movement to here, and then have him take off faster. I don't know how much we're into one of these situations where it should be easy. No problem. Let's do it in 2 steps and see how it goes. Just to see how it goes. So we'll just do, he just wants to go to here. He's just got to go to there first. He's going to go fairly fast, but we'll stretch the time out. He's going, and then he reaches there, and then I want him to finish the rest of the trip off screen in a much faster time frame. That's not bad, but maybe he just didn't quite make it as far up the first time. Maybe he only made it to here. I'll tighten that up just a hair. That's pretty good. That's not bad. Now, I had some figuring done on how to do a smoke layer. And it's not that hard, but it's just trying to remember what the values were in here. Was it like it might have been a soft edge kind of thing. And then it probably wasn't a full, maybe it was like a 155. And then like that. I'm going to, I don't think you'll be able to see this. That's just me. I'm going to take rid of that. Previewing the window to see what it looks like. If it looks, yeah, it's got a bit of a haze there. That's, you won't be able to see it, unfortunately, but it is there. So it doesn't look like just a gray blob, if you take my word for it. When we do the final look, I'll make sure that we can see. I'll be recording the window because I have it on window capture rather than screen capture. So I will make sure that we get a full proper thing that you can see by the next video. So what we will do is the smoke layer is actually going to start off here as just a very small blob. So we're going to shrink it down to almost nothing. And then it's going to start off here as a very small blob. We'll add a bunch of points so we can make some edges on this thing. Hopefully I'm moving fast enough without being too sloppy in order to in, up, in, up, in, up, in, up, in, up, in, up. This is the formal training on how to make clouds and smoke. In, up, in, up, in, up, in, up. Didn't you know that? This is what it's all about. So just a whole bunch of in-ups. Let's see if we can make these a little bit more rounded. Something like that, sure. We'll have it start with like one little plume kind of attached here. This is where everything comes from. This one point. And then we'll take everything else and try to shrink it down into there. Now again, I'm fighting my inner instinct here to, now I'm thinking, wouldn't it be neat if it kind of puffed a couple of times so it appeared and then disappeared like it was struggling to get going. But we're going to keep it simple. We're going to follow the good old KISS method. Keep it simple, stupid, like my teacher used to say. I wonder if my teacher would get in trouble for that. Back in high school, he'd always tell us, keep it simple, stupid. And I'm wondering now if in this day and age, if he were to do that, he would get slapped with some kind of lawsuit or God knows what. Who knows, right? Can't say anything these days. And in large part, that's probably a good thing, because you don't want teachers going around and saying, hey, idiot, get your goddamn homework in. I mean, that might be what they want to say, but you shouldn't be able to say that. You can't just say that, even to a high school kid. You can't just be name-calling. I mean, that's like literal bullying. And some of my teachers, by today's standards, and I guess by any standard, were like literal bullies. We had one teacher, a math teacher, and his goal, honestly, I can't remember who he told this to. Maybe it was just a myth, but it certainly seemed real. His goal was to make one person in the class miserable enough within the first month or so to just drop the class. And he picked on this poor girl that sat behind me. She wasn't the most popular girl. She wasn't the most outgoing. I don't know how smart she was and how she was handling the material, but he made her out to just be a complete idiot and would torment her to no end, and eventually she dropped the class. Go figure, an adult, a full-grown adult, was able to torment someone, a young person, so much that they wanted to drop the class. And at the time, I was kind of like, hell yeah, that's right. Survival of the fittest, right? I'm still here, you're not, that's fine. But now in retrospect, I'm getting a little bit more laid back, and I'm like, that was horrible. You can't just do that to people. What are you thinking? And yet he was a teacher, and he taught for quite some time after that. And as far as I know, left the profession in good standing with the community here, or the faculty, I guess. I don't know. I mean, and there are other teachers who do other horrible things, but like legally throw them in jail kind of things. But somehow this just tormenting and destroying someone's psyche enough to the point where they want to quit their school or their teaching and schooling class is horrible. It seems like a lot worse in a lot of ways. And here I am rambling on and not getting any work done. I gotta find a way to marry these stories and the actual work better. What we want to accomplish now is have this smoke layer move at the same rate as the O, right? So that's easy enough. We're gonna have it start at, what is this, 276, and it goes to 296. So at 276, the smoke has to have a mark. Boom. So then at what did you call it? 296 is where the pause is. Well, we'll worry about the size later, but we just want this placement of this to work to there, right? That's what the O does. And then in a much tighter time frame, 307, it then just suddenly decides to just really just get out of town. the boost afterburners have kicked in, or whatever kind of technology is going on here. It's finally started to work, and he's out. Now, we may have to make this go more, actually, because otherwise the smoke is going to stay on the screen. Oh, I should have thought about that after. Which means he's actually going to end up moving a lot faster, because he's got a greater distance to cover in a shorter amount of time. So we'll actually pull this back just to slow him down a bit. I have trouble grabbing those points. Just to slow him down a bit. You still get the impression that he's moved faster, but he's slowed down just a hair. And then we'll have the smoke catch up. Again, so in the same amount of time. Oh, wait a minute here. He's got 2 points. No, this has got to go. This has got to come to here. Yeah, I have a lot of trouble grabbing those points. And then he has to have come to here, actually. Now, this should look like one simple movement, and there shouldn't be any delay between. Yeah, the smoke keeps up. It keeps up just fine. Okay. So we got the smoke. He's keeping at his pace. He hasn't been kicked out of class by his teacher or made to quit. And he's doing just fine. So now, in this time frame, as he's going, we need this smoke to start to expand. And we're going to keep it simple. We're not going to have it waving and blowing as it moves. We're just going to have it, it's going to get bigger. And as it should. And so from here, we mark that as a benchmark. And then by here, I want it to be like, oh no, what has happened? Can we just, no, oh no. I should just have these, oh, because I'm transforming the layer as opposed to the, let's see. No, that's not going to work. I pulled down. No, that's not going to work either. I know there's a way where you can, oh no. I'm looking like a fool again. Like the end that solved its whole problem with the timing of the legs. Maybe I'll just get lucky and have it just suddenly decide to work. But I don't know about that. I know I've done this before, and what I ended up, this is all coming back to me now. What I ended up doing was just going in here and doing it on a point-by-point basis and just making it look as big as I wanted it to look. Down, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. And I just make it look how I want it to look on an individual point basis. Not as smooth and professional as it probably could be, but again, I lack that skill and knowledge. And I apologize if this is tedious. Maybe this is relaxing. When I was watching the videos myself, this might just be me. But again, I operate under the idea that I'm not the exception. If one of me exists, and finds something a certain way, there's got to be someone else, at least one other person in the world that thinks the same. And when I was watching my videos back, I thought, it's kind of relaxing watching these points move, just listening to me talk a little bit. And maybe someone else, oh, I didn't do it on a point-by-point basis. All that time wasted. Oh, I didn't set benchmarks. What a travesty. What an absolute travesty. So if we just delete this, what happens? The whole thing disappears. Oh, I apologize. I apologize. We need to go back to this frame. Was this one here? Yeah, and the smoke at this point needs to be here. You can't go too far ahead. You do have to listen. You have a life of your own, but you do have to listen to me sometimes. And right now you need to be there. So that when we watch this, the smoke is always with you. Yes, that's fine. Okay. This was supposed to be easy. The incorporation of the smoke has made things needlessly complicated. There's gotta be a way to do this. Yeah. Yeah. There you are there, you're up to there, so at this point we need something to happen with this smoke. The smoke needs to look somehow different. I guess we can just do it like we did, but this time set a benchmark on those points. Oh shit. Now over here, there should be a way that I can see that I'm only using the points. Right now the whole layer is being, these keyframes represent what's happening on this layer, but there should be a way where I can see it's just the points. Oh, this is embarrassing again. I told myself when I did these videos I wasn't going to be embarrassed by my lack of technical skill. I don't have anything to apologize for. This is not my profession. I'm just, you know, I'm just messing around. And yet I still find myself apologizing because I should be able to at least do some basic things here. Yeah. So right beforehand, we should have these points benchmarked. So at this point, you should be here. Boom. Then, as you go up, you should have a finished product that looks like, well, not even finished, even just by, maybe we'll change that benchmark, push this benchmark back a bit. So we start, so from here, from this point here, it's going to start to change. And by the time it's finished, we want the smoke to look different. Just different. No, we're going to want the smoke to be down, up, and it's going to actually have to be like up. Is that far enough? That should be good. Yeah, that's good. Like that. You're down. You're up. You're down. You're down. You're up. You're down. Cloud Making 101 by tbroman. Oh, come on. Up and down. Okay, that's easy enough. You were up, which means you're down, which means you're up, which means you're down, which means you're up, and which means you're down. So, oh, and you're up, and you're down. So we got the basics here. I hope that doesn't change things too much. Now we'll just kind of try to position this in a way that makes it look somewhat smoky. I guess we could have done like a jet fire thing that's just like a series of red and orange triangles too, which might have been a lot simpler in retrospect, but I don't think we're going to change things now. We got fairly decent. I guess if this doesn't look the way I expect it to look, like really, really poorly, we might consider changing it, but we'll just have it kind of tapered so that it seems to be kind of trailing off, much like my commentary, until we get to, want this a little bit wider maybe, until we get to something like this. How does that look? That looks like smoke, right? Doesn't quite go fast enough. So we can just tighten that up maybe? Maybe by here it's fully finished. It's gonna drag, yeah, it's gonna move too fast. No good. No good. So it's at 316, so this has to go back to 316. You now have the longer window to go through. Let's look and see. It might be alright. We're gonna pop that. We're gonna hit the old play button. probably gets the point across. That's usually my benchmark for when it comes to complicated things or things I don't want to spend too much time on. As long as it's getting the point across, then I'm good with it. So we want a baseline of no smoke, and then the appearance of smoke. Where was it? The appearance of smoke. Once you start moving up, we'll just call it here. Smoke there, yeah. Wait a minute. Why is that already there? No smoke. Oh, this is already set to be smoke. Let's delete this. And then somewhere in here we switch to smoke. So if we go back and we watch this briefly, there goes the O and the smoke, and he's gone. That's pretty good. I mean, we'll see what it looks like in the final version. But I don't want to dwell on this because I'm sure I've gone, yeah, I'm at like 30 minutes here. That's ridiculous. But I said I was going to finish this. So now we need to do something with the O, and after the O, we are done. And I'm very pleased to hear that. We've got everything moving, right? Yeah, except our stick in the mud tees. Everybody else is having fun. Everyone else is getting something done, expressing themselves in some way, shape, or form. And now I cannot for the life of me remember what this O was going to do. It was a pretty good idea, I seem to remember. It might have been reusing the limb idea, but it also might not have been. Was he going to be doing jumping jacks or something? I'm not too sure, to be honest with you. I apologize if this is dragging on. I've got to take a break here. I'll be right back. You won't notice anything. Oh, sorry about that. I hope the cut doesn't turn out to be too obvious, but I just had to run upstairs for a second, take care of something, and I am back at it. This video, again, is probably going to go fairly long, but I want to get it done. This introduction section is going to be done, and we'll take a look at the final product at the beginning of the next video, and then we'll move on from there. Just to close out now, I'm going to try to maybe just by talking out my thoughts here, figure out what I am actually going to do for that next project. Do I want to start something new? Do I want to go back through my backlog? Again, the goal was to work through the backlog, but I heard some funny stuff on YouTube today as I was getting ready to record, and I'm thinking I already have a new video taking shape in my head, and I'm trying to decide if I should be a little more diligent in working through old material, or maybe the new exciting stuff, a little bit fresh, will propel me through the awkward sort of first few stages of recordings. And where I think I'm landing actually is on old material, because I have so much started. I think it'll be easier for me to sit down with the microphone, start recording and tweaking and moving old material around, rather than sitting in front of a blank canvas trying to talk, trying to do something new. But we'll see how it goes. I've got one video in mind from another series. You might be noticing a theme here, but I had another thing. I mentioned a few videos ago, the Daily Dose. I had another idea for a series of short videos, again, that I thought would be easier to complete on a consistent basis, and I called them 30 animated seconds of. So 30 animated seconds of whatever topic. Do a quick little nothing. A lot of people talking like won't, and no real audio, nothing too tricky to try to sync lips to, or just, again, funny, get it out the door, get it published, get some reaction on it. And obviously that didn't end up working. But I have content partially completed for about 3 or 4 of those, and ideas for a dozen more already. So if I start on some of that, maybe that'll be what direction I might want to go. And I can't for the life of me remember what I was going to do with this U. I apologize. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to make the U sees that this thing goes, and he's not trusting the O's jetpack technology, and he's thinking, I gotta protect myself. So he's just gonna sprout maybe like he's gonna sprout a little umbrella. Yeah, that'll be what he does. He's gonna have a little umbrella that pops out, and then that'll be that. I apologize for not having this sorted out. I had an idea, but it just did not turn out. Or not that it didn't turn out, but I wasn't able to remember what it was supposed to be. Maybe we want to do this in a switch layer again, rather than combine it in the layer with the U. I try to keep things tidy that way. Pardon me. I'm not that good at keeping it tidy, but I try. Umbrella, stick, and then we're going to end up duplicating that, and we're going to do a switch layer that has the stick and the pop out of the umbrella covering. And he's just going to try to protect himself in his own way from any potential falling debris from that crazy jetpack nonsense. So quickly here, we'll just move through this. This will be something simple, a good way to close out the video. Yep, it's off to a good start. That's great. So yeah, I'm thinking about, you know, something new, something, you know, more relevant to what's going on right now in terms of online content. That's the other thing, is I want to stop saying NLSS, because not everything is a reference to, I think when I did the last videos, I had just come off watching a VOD, and so they were like fresh on my mind, but you know, it's not going to be all NLSS all the time. Certainly they're going to be a big part of some of the comedic type tribute stuff that I end up doing, but they're not the be all end all, and I've got other ideas that I want to do. Should we have, it looks kind of like a pogo. I don't know. We have pogos in Canada. Corn dogs, I guess you might call them. I don't know. But yeah, so we're gonna be doing our own stuff. We're gonna be doing, don't get me wrong, there's gonna be lots of NLSS stuff, but it's not gonna be the only thing. We're gonna call this umbrella popped. So I'm hoping there's gonna be a nice mix of that stuff. Umbrella stick, umbrella popped, perfect. So now umbrella popped. We can hide this for now. We're gonna pull this out. We're gonna pull this out. We'll give this a nice little pointer. I got some volunteering to do in a little bit, so I've got to get moving. But should these be bowed up or down? Up, I guess. Eh? Guess we can pull this part out. Yeah, that looks better. That looks all right. Now we're shaping up here. What does this look like? Again, you probably won't be able to see this, but yeah, that looks good. So we got that, we got that. We'll throw all that into a switch layer. And this is going to go fast. It's not going to be that realistic because this stuff is just going to suddenly appear. But it's going to get the message across. So O blasts off. U doesn't like the look of that, so he, no. At the very beginning, we are no umbrella. O blasts off. He doesn't like the look of that. He goes to the stick. Boom. It pops out. Pop. There we go. It's gonna happen fast, though. That's the problem. Maybe it should be tightened up a bit. You know, it gets a good stick out for a little bit. It's kind of silly. It's not the greatest. Not a lot of movement. What I do sometimes in this situation is, so we're down here at the 312, and I'll make another layer in the middle here, in the switch layer over here. That would be called like umbrella half popped. And you'd have, instead of the full exposed thing, you'd have just a partially bigger umbrella canopy visible here. And then it looks, you know, it gives you another, your frame, your eyes, because really what I'm asking is in this gap here that your eyes and brain fill in what's happening. And that's a big gap for your eyes to fill in. And it's a big ask for your brain to say, okay, yeah, I get it. The umbrella is popping open. But if I close in, you know, tighten that up, maybe, and then throw in a half masked, half popped thing here, it's asking less of your brain, because there'll be just a little gap before the other frame and a little gap after the other frame, and it's not asking your brain to do too much work. The work is my job. Your brain's got to do some of it, but in the end, it really is up to me to tell you what's going on here. But I think that's, for our purposes, that's pretty good. And you know what? Maybe for a compromise, what we'll do is shortly after that happens, we'll have this O, have something go awry. We'll have something go awry with this O, and then we will call the video at this point. At that point, rather. So, about here maybe, we'll have it marked, a benchmark. Then here, the O is going to turn. Yep, that's fine. Let's do this at the same time. We want where was the benchmark? The benchmark was here at 324. So we'll benchmark our smoke here. Then the movement by 327. The smoke's got to be back up here. That's good. Okay. And then 336. Yeah, that's good. 336. The O is going to come crashing through here. And so is the smoke. Going to come crashing through here. Like so. And then that should. Does this look right? It looks alright. Might be a little quick. Your eye can't really tell what's going on. This is a long video. I got animation. I don't know. For something so small and simple. Wait a minute, is that? Yeah, I've buggered something up in that. That's fine, we'll figure it out. It's only everything after here that's the problem. It's just these three. There we go. What does the O do? Did I screw the O up as well? No, the O was marked and then spun. It was benchmarked at 316. No, that was its finishing point. It was then benchmarked at 324. I must not have benchmarked the smoke. We're on the layer. Benchmark the smoke. 324. By 336, the smoke. Oh no. $324 should be the benchmark, yeah? So then by 326, our smoke should be pivoted and in. And then by 336, the smoke should be with the O down here. Now, does that fix the problem? This was supposed to be an easy... Yeah, you get the idea, right? Oh, this is too long. It goes up, then he comes back. It's happening too fast, but, you get to see it at least. It happens, right? And we can change that pretty easily if we wanted to. Just go to the O, and then instead of happening in that amount of time, you happened in... Just increase the length of this animation yet again. I know I don't have to do this step by step. I like to... Helps me track how much is actually going on. So by 02, 336, you're there. But we can give you longer time to do that if you want. And then we'll just give the smoke the equal amount of time to get where it needs to be. But it's not looking like that's going to happen. Actually, the smoke is overtaking for some reason. It makes no sense whatsoever. I changed everything equally. Looks like it's starting from somewhere slightly different. Does that fix it? Yeah, no it doesn't. You son of a gun. Wonder why that is. Everything's benchmarked at the same spot. Yeah, I didn't benchmark the smoke here. Smoke really at this point should be here. And then it still overtakes it. That's strange. Something wrong is happening in the turn. I mean, I could go and fix it, and I probably should. Boom. This is the stopping point. Is this 316 frame is key. Everything after 316 is where the problems start to arise. We do that, so then we'll benchmark at 324. Everything gets benchmarked at 324. The O position and the O rotation, benchmarked at 324. The smoke position and the smoke rotation, benchmark at 324. By 330, we want the O rotated. Easy enough. By 330, we also want the smoke rotated. Easy enough. I think the problem is they're moving from two different spots. The origins are not the same. So the longer something goes on, I don't know. So there it is. It's there at 330. Why is it still moving then? It's not. There's no movement happening after we've benchmarked it at 330. So from there to there, we can have the O. It's already been benchmarked. We'll also benchmark. Oh, we've only benchmarked its rotation. Maybe that's why. Boom. Boom. You're all benchmarked there. Benchmark everything here. So nothing is moving after that. And then we'll move. And we'll move only the layer. So the O will come down here. And the smoke will also come down here. It should be fine, but I've been baffled by this kind of thing before. Getting things to move together, that looks much better. Now, does it last long enough? Yeah, you can see now that it's an O coming back across the screen. It's moving much slower. I like that much, much better. Yeah, that's pretty good. So that's every single letter. Let's just watch through it once now. The I goes, the other I. We already know all this. I'll talk over this. Coming up in the next video, I will, off screen, I will tidy everything up. I'm not going to make any other changes. Just tidy up and put it in a window that I can record. You can see it in the final version. You can see what that smoke looks like. You can see everything going. Just because, you know, I like to come up with one final product. If I want to see this through to the end, like I said I got to make a final published video. I won't go up on the channel, but you will see it embedded in the next video. So until then, thanks very much. See you soon.